YNW Melly, his real name is Jamel Demons. He's actually in plain clothes in the courtroom for the first time in months, again, as this judge really starts the long process of seating a new jury.
As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless.
Do you understand the offer that the state is making to you? As to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. Life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years.
After news of the YNW Bortlen plea deal being released, Offset reacted, "Damn, Melly getting snitched on by his best friend. Free that boy, he's been locked up for way too long." This was his reaction to the news of YNW Melly's co-defendant, YNW Bortlen, was offered a 16-year plea deal and he has until tomorrow to decide. He's currently facing 5 life sentences, plus 75 years if convicted. As in the plea deal offer sheet, YNW Bortlen has 5 life sentencing charges consisting of 2 first-degree M's, witness tampering, directing activities of a criminal act, and even more witness tampering charges, but it would all be consolidated into a 16-year prison sentence with time served if he accepted the plea deal, which is a no-brainer.
Mr. Henry, do you understand the offer that the state is making to you? Okay, you're charged as follows. Counts 1 and 2 is the first degree with a firearm. Those are capital felonies, which means it's a mandatory life sentence. If the jury convicts you of count 1 or count 2 as charged, that's life in Florida State Prison. I have no discretion. Count 3 and count 4 are accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree. Those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty for each of those is 30 years in Florida State Prison. Count 1 is tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison. Is directing the activities of a criminal. That's a first degree felony punishable by life. So the maximum penalty there is also life in Florida State Prison. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. And again, as it's charged, that is also a life felony. As to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. Life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison.
Like the video if you would accept the deal, because right now the feds are creating a plea deal with Bortlen for 5 specific reasons. With the first being on the night of the crime, Bortlen did an interrogation. The officer would flat out ask him, "If you know who did this crime, would you tell me?" Where Bortlen is obviously caught lying.
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS. Okay, and it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay, you may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I wouldn't want to be.
The feds already knew that Bortlen was lying due to him not giving a firm yes or no answer using his voice. Instead, he was shaking his head no. This is because if it was Melly who did the crime, he would obviously know that. So saying no to the officer in an intense situation would have caused his voice to either crack or come out at a different pitch than he's been using throughout the interview, which is due to him lying. That would be a clear indicator to police that Bortlen never wanted to even be involved. He knows what happened. He just wants to get out. The feds already have evidence of Melly admitting to the crime. They just need Bortlen to validate it.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly count says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Which is terrible timing for YNW Melly, as he was just feeling very confident about his case. He even ordered a $100,000 diamond chain while in jail for when he gets out.
I would assume
that
he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
And cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry and you're not here to wear the jewelry?
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But
Yeah.
he's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, it was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want the chain no more.
With Melly already getting a mistrial in the first trial, he was so confident for the second trial he would beat the case, he was ordering diamond chains from behind bars. But everything changed when the news wrote YNW Melly's double retrial has now been postponed once again. During a hearing on Friday, the 4th District Court of Appeals granted a stay in the case. This allows more time to consider a motion by the state attorney's office, meaning the trial will not begin in September and has been pushed back all the way to January of 2027. With the trial already being delayed again, this is because they want to have the most time possible to make a deal with YNW Bortlen. As the news would write shortly after, a no communication order has been filed in the YNW Melly trial. The order makes YNW Melly and Bortlen completely separate, no talking, no lawyer talk, just silence, which is the prosecutor's way to force Bortlen to snitch against Melly, and Melly not being able to call him, begging him not to.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking the penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Having YNW Bortlen on their side will leave Melly found guilty in his trial in 2027, as all Bortlen needs to do is confirm a few pieces of evidence against Melly. But there's one specific reason why YNW Bortlen will snitch against Melly. He won't physically be able to sit there and take life in prison to the chin, but it's also because YNW Melly's lawyer in the first trial already tried telling the jury that YNW Bortlen committed this crime. And in case you weren't aware, since this moment, Melly and Bortlen have not talked to each other once.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. And you don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, a car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
That is YNW Melly's own lawyer revealing to the jury that it was Bortlen that was lying to the feds in the interrogation I shared earlier. He was the one with powder residue on his hands, and that he was the one with Juvie and Sack Chaser when they passed away. They even went as far as to bringing a forensic scientist to the stand to go into further detail of the powder residue on Bortlen's hands.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of hot residue and two component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of hot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was hot residue present on the hands.
YNW Bortlen did not like this at all, which is why when Melly's mistrial was granted, the news wrote, YNW Bortlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared. The tweet read, "Mind games don't work on people like me," alongside a handshake emoji as if he's accepting some sort of deal. But what's even more concerning is that Bortlen has every reason to snitch against Melly because of what was found inside of Bortlen's home.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Demmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with the witness.
It would be announced by Bryson Ball. Here are the images of alleged notes discovered during the home raid of YNW Bortlen's home last week, as filed into the Broward clerks. Alongside these photos of Bortlen detailing where certain jurors were sitting with a description of what they looked like. As before Melly's lawyers started throwing incriminating evidence against Bortlen showed up to the courtroom to be given his own trial date. Before exiting the court, Bortlen would take a mental note of where all the jurors were sitting, a description of what they looked like, and honestly, it looked as if Bortlen was gonna slide on these jurors if they found his best friend guilty.
To keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortlen, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh! Like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
But once hearing Melly's lawyers try to make Bortlen look guilty, he ended up stuffing the writings into a suitcase and put it in his closet. But here's where it gets very concerning for YNW Melly, and allow me to explain. Bortlen will be able to validate all of the new evidence the prosecutors want to use against Melly. You tell me if this makes him sound guilty. The prosecutors want to know why Fredo Bang picked up YNW Melly from the side of the road on the night of the crime.
And Chris Thomas are. So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Demmons is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location, to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Givens, then about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin where Mr. Demmons has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone call.
Well, they also want to use a piece of evidence from Facebook of YNW Melly with Young Thug, where they're trying to claim that Melly is a part of the same street team as Young Thug, being the Red Team.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with him. And he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Demmons has the big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see the individuals again. I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
What's interesting about this piece of evidence is when the prosecutors tried submitting it as usable in Melly's trial, Melly was seen yelling at his lawyers, telling them to just let them use the evidence because he knows that Bortlen will just validate it anyway. The news wrote, today's hearing marks the first time YNW Melly publicly went against his legal team's advisement in open court, as Melly was seen yelling at them.
Yes, sir. Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You objected to it. You're requesting me to
determine this automatic stay. Based upon what our client has instructed us, yes, sir.
Many inside of the courtroom overheard what YNW Melly was saying, where he said, quote, "I don't care. I'm not in no gang. They can't prove that."
I'm aware that 924-071 call for an automatic stay while
they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator, that's the death.
Sorry.
Aggravator, that's the enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the for the further conviction, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
But this is the worst piece of evidence by far. They want to try to use an ex-O Block member who snitched out YNW Melly in a public interview. Before King Von passed and Melly was arrested, these two were best friends. King Von told people inside of O Block that Melly was asking him for advice on how to handle certain people.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. He, bro, why you put up there, bro? What the bam? I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
With Melly's trial now delayed until 2027, they will have 2 years to make all of that evidence usable, and if they do, and Bortlen validates it, he'll be sentenced to life in prison. But what's even worse for YNW Melly is his second court case. The only reason Melly was not found guilty in the original trial was because his girlfriend Mariah Hamilton escaped the United States and didn't testify against Melly inside of the trial. However, only 1 month ago, she tried coming back into the country.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
She really missed her family in the United States, so she tried coming home and was immediately arrested at the airport. She would end up spending a week in jail before getting her first court hearing. Having the worst time possible, Mariah would show up to the courtroom where the judge would make her a deal, saying if you agree to testify against Melly, you're free to go. Before he could finish his sentence, she agreed, being the worst possible news for YNW Melly. She wrote on Facebook, "To my village, thank you to my village. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." Not only does Mariah know exactly what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie, but if she validates one single text message of YNW Melly forcing her to not testify in trial, Melly will be sentenced to life in prison. This is known as witness tampering, and it carries a life sentence in prison regardless if Melly actually did the crime to Sack Chaser and Juvie.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering case is also separate from his existing case of Sack Chaser and Juvie's passing. This is due to him witness tampering with the jail phone. YNW Melly has not been allowed to use a phone now for over a year. The feds found evidence on Mariah's iCloud account of Melly leaving her voicemails telling her to go away, essentially escaping the United States. Even YNW Juvie's father exposed Melly in a public interview.
There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom. And
with Melly now not even allowed to use a jail phone to call his own family, his mother Jamie King did an interview exposing the county jail for not allowing Melly to even talk to his loved ones.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if the evidence is true that Melly was using the jail phone to commit witness tampering, that's why they haven't allowed him to use it. Although they 100% have the evidence stored away, waiting for the trial to begin. They wouldn't just keep Melly off of the phone if it was a hunch that he witness tampered with it, because that would result in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So due to this reason, Jamie King revealed she is absolutely heartbroken for her son.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
This would get a lot of attention on the media, especially from industry people, as Charleston White reacted, saying this is what YNW Melly should be living like. He shouldn't get any special treatment, but comment down below your own thoughts.
The YNW Melly, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated when you done chose to play somebody.
This would then get the attention of Boosie, who would speak on the stress that Jamie King has been going through.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a...
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
However, having Bortlen on their side will also answer one very important question, which is what is the context to what happened only 5 hours after the crime occurred? When it was announced, the prosecutors updated evidence against YNW Melly. He didn't know that he was filmed admitting to the passing of Sack Chaser in juvie, where only 5 hours after the crime was done, Melly was seen dancing in a parking lot with YNW Bortlen.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Showing not even an ounce of sadness for the passing of their two best friends. However, 30 minutes before the crime, Melly was seen exiting the rap studio. He was seen sitting directly in the back left seat for roughly 20 minutes before anyone else got in. Bortlen can validate what he was doing.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes, all right.
With Bortlen being able to validate Melly was there, the official court document reads, the direction of items traveling from left to right in the car supports the claim that they originated from the back left seat where Melly was positioned. Even YNW Juvie's mother confirmed he was there.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.